everybody! Yes, this is the Hisessions Hawaii podcast, but as you can tell from the not so sultry sounds of this voice, this is not your regular host, John Yamasato. My name is Nick Kawakami, and since I'm here, that means it's another Oppo-Cast! Yay! Don't sound so excited.
Actually, I did have a listener. I bumped into them and they're like, well, who's coming up? I'm like, oh, we're going to do Oppo-Cast. And they're like, well, that's always a good one.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, listener that John probably just made up to make me feel better.
You do a good job. You always do a good job.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Are you drinking a pumpkin spice?
I did.
Can totally
PSL season.
You can smell it from here. It's really nice
Earlier
smell.
and earlier they do it.
I know.
Yeah.
Is anybody complaining?
Wait, it's
Would
not
you
even
like me to-
October
I'm
yet.
not
It's not even September yet.
Exactly.
No, and like
Yeah.
Halloween stuff, Christmas stuff is all at Costco already.
What?
Really?
Yeah.
So guys, tis the season to start spending money
What
on
the? That's
holiday
too early,
themed
man.
items.
You don't even spend money on your house for Christmas or anything. I don't know what you're complaining about.
I don't know.
All right. Well, anyway, so for those non-familiar with the Oppo-Cast, let me explain a little bit about what it is. Basically, just flipping the regular podcast on its head. I, the guest, am now the host to interview John, Kyle, and Devon. This is an annual tradition, and I'm honored to be brought back.
This is always one of my favorites.
Only because John doesn't have to work.
How did this
Exactly.
start?
Yeah, less for John to work.
It was
did
Nick's.
this
It
start?
was Nick's idea initially.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
it was.
Oh,
It
yeah,
was.
yeah. Because John asked me to be a guest.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't really want to
I don't wanna talk about me.
Okay.
Cop out. But no, the point for me is
Nick's very shy. That's why.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is.
shy.
Yeah.
Can you tell?
I'm blushing right now.
Yes, yes.
But the point of the Oppo-Cast is so that the listeners, including me, can get to know you guys better. So, but before we start, we want to take a moment to thank our sponsors, let you guys know how you can stay in touch with the show. This is, full disclosure, this was the intro from last time because John didn't give me notes for what it is. So if I
know,
say
sorry.
something wrong,
We'll correct you.
yeah, you guys
come
can
on.
correct me. You can.
The only thing
add
that
in.
changes is where Devon is.
No, Devon was there before.
No.
No. Like,
Oh, is
Who
like
is now?
spiritually? Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
What you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah. No,
Thank you.
so if it's
Thank
in
you.
there,
I made
do
that
not
note.
read that
Thank
part.
you. He made that note.
Yeah,
He made
I
that.
made that note.
All right.
I
Yeah.
have a story for that later. But anyway,
Yeah.
so let's take a moment to first tell everybody the free ways that they can stay in touch with the show: Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it, all at Hisessions. Or you can email at hisessions@yahoo.com. Send an email directly to, I'm assuming, John, because he is the all-encompassing know-all of this podcast. And send in your comments. Let them know. If actual people do send an email and say that they like the Oppo-Cast, John does take those under consideration. If you want an even greater way to stay in touch, you can sign up by being a Patreon by going to patreon.com/Hisessions. That's patreon.com/Hisessions. Like I say, having always been a part of the Hisessions universe for many years, I know what it takes to keep this Death Star, in orbit. So becoming
Thank you for that awesome reference.
Yeah. Being a Patreon supporter really does help these guys. So please go and sign up at patreon.com.
And we did have a listener, a patron, come by our shoot yesterday.
Oh.
I think she had a good time.
Oh, good.
So, you do get to come to the shoots.
Yeah,
if you
Who did you guys shoot yesterday?
We shot Faith Ako, who's from California West Coast, and then Kala'e Camarillo,
Oh, nice.
who's been around the scene for a little bit. And,
Yeah.
How's the weather out that side?
It was actually amazing
Really?
because it did not rain because it's Ko'olina.
Oh, yeah.
But so it was cloudy, overcast, so it made it nice and cool and breezy.
Oh,
And then we
nice.
had this amazing, crazy sunset. It was like the
Yeah,
whole
we
sky
say,
was
yeah.
red. Yeah.
Oh, that's the one Dave and his wife took a picture
Yeah.
of. Okay.
So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
Yeah, so or you can, as also too, Patreons get a chance to suggest guests for podcasts or the music side show too.
Say,
So
more Oppo-Cast.
yeah, we just got our. Oh no, we didn't just get them, but we got our John Drawn 2024 Patreon shirts.
Okay.
Which came out nice. I know you guys complained about
Thank
the
you.
size, but it fit me perfectly. So
Oh, nice. Okay,
thank you for
great.
that. Finally, the other way that you can help support the show is support the local companies that support the show. So first, Kupu Kupu Landscaping, Landscape Architects. Call Kevin Yokomura 808-722-8685 for a free estimate, or go to kupukupulandscaping.com. Also, Fort Ruger Market. Thank you for the food today. I had the beef stew plate, side mac salad. That is my jam. If it could get poi, that would just be the icing on the cake. But
you could have got poi.
Mix that all up, huh?
You could have got poi. You could have.
I could have?
Yeah,
it wasn't on
poi?
the mobile menu. Or next time, yeah. I know this sounds super gross, and probably to everyone except me. I'm a mixer. So like as a kid, I would get the corned beef hash, eggs, and rice plate from for breakfast, and put some ketchup, chop it all up, and mix it all together. You know, like, so it's a big mix. Big
But you mix poi into your stew?
Mix poi, stew, and mac salad together. It's the same thing as the Zippy's chili Frank plate.
Yeah.
Put the mac salad and the rice inside and mix
yeah.
it all up.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
I never tried poi mixed in with beef stew before, though.
So you're making that face and I'm making the same face?
Yeah,
That does not sound good at all.
For the listening audience, it is a face of eagerness and excitement to try it.
I would just imagine it would just make the whole thing thicker. Like it would make the sauce
would, right?
thicker.
No, but it adds a.
No, it adds like a little sourness
yeah,
to
sour
it. And it's
note,
just
yeah.
the richness comes from the mac salad, so it gets like a little bit sweeter and a little, it's just
Who
like,
taught you this?
Oh, this is trial and error, many years of eating beef stew.
Oh, interesting.
Really?
Okay.
I mean, I think it was just one of those things where, like in life, you're just eating it all separate, and then one day one touches the other, you're like, oh, it's not bad, and then the other one touches the other, oh, it's not bad.
Like how cereal and milk
Yeah,
got
exactly.
invented, right?
We'll cover that.
Yeah.
Definitely a
This
recommendation.
sounds so bad. One touches the other, and then
That wasn't too bad.
Touching, when things touch, magic happens. Let me
man.
just say that.
I can see that.
Yeah, you can see that.
Yeah.
And boom, look, kids. Okay.
As for subscribing to the show, you're probably already listening to these apps right now, but just a reminder, SoundCloud, YouTube, Apple Podcasts. The biggest thing, don't forget to like and comment or give it 5 stars, rate and review.
We'd love to hear comments and suggestions.
Yeah, we had a couple people feedback on the Read Inoue podcast. That was nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you for
so
that.
continue to do that. If you're listening on the podcast, 5 stars, rate and review. Really helps everything rise around here. So please go ahead and do that. Did I miss anything else?
No, you got it, man.
You did a great job.
Oh,
Good
mention
job.
also too when you do your comments what a great job the person who edits it does.
Yeah.
Because it's John's daughter, and then she gets some pub, and maybe she'll keep doing it for the price that she's doing it at.
Cheap labor.
Yeah, you're trading her for exposure. You're trading
exposure, yeah.
Trade. Little music inside joke there. Okay, so anyway, on to the Oppo-Cast. But this year, since this is the 3rd edition of it, I wanted to start a little bit differently because I feel like I went back and listened to the other 2, and I noticed that. Yeah, I do my research here, guys. The first 2.
I just remember we didn't get to half of what you wanted to.
Oh yeah, we're not gonna get to half. I've already just talked for like 25 minutes. It's okay. But I didn't really introduce who I am and how I'm involved in these units.
Okay, yeah, that's a
so
good
let
idea.
me take a moment to kind of explain that. So, and I don't think I've ever talked about my connection to Hisessions on the podcast, or maybe I have on a random intro video on the video side. But so I remember back in like the late 2000s, early 2010s, we were all watching Daryl's House on YouTube, right? And at the time I was playing in a band called Manoa DNA, and we were trying to also mimic, I had the grand idea to start to try and mimic Daryl's House. Daryl's House, for those that people don't know, it was a web video show where Daryl Hall of Hall & Oates would bring in a guest artist. They would rehearse all together, and this wasn't like up and coming people that people didn't know. This was Daryl Hall called in huge people to come in and join him, and then Daryl and his band would back up this featured artist and sing together, and it was amazing because Daryl Hall is
great show.
Yeah, and
It's still going on, right?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, I think he's still doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, so it must be.
He
10,
bought a
15
barn
years old
and
now.
did all kinds.
Yeah.
It's like it's actually at his house, and they actually have a meal, and do the whole
Yeah, the meal thing. Yeah, I remember that. Yeah. So anyway, I was a big fan and kind of wanted to mirror that from Manoa DNA. And at that same kismet moment, we had a barbecue down at Ko'oloha Ukulele. And Ko'oloha throws these parties that would go on. And I think it was like 2010, 2011.
It's the old shop then.
The old shop, down in Kalihi. And they would throw these parties and they would invite all their friends over and they would barbecue and cook and we'd sing and, you know, it was just a good time. And it just so happened that this particular one, John was there and I was there. And I remember literally sitting on the stairs that would go up to their offices. And John and I were having this conversation. And John said, oh, you know, I am going to be doing this trial with my friend Dave of a new music video show for Hawaii artists. And so he and I got to talk about, like, you know, all the ways that we thought that was going to work and how much it's needed in Hawaii and the exposure for all the artists and all the great things that it should be providing. And John, graciously, because it's John, he's like, hey, why don't you bring your ukulele, come down, and we're going to shoot this test one next week. It'll be me, and then you can come down and sing and bring your ukulele. So I was like, oh, yeah, awesome. But again, I was more interested in the producing side. Mm-hmm. So I forgot my ukulele that day or something like that. And so
I like the air quotes. I like the air quotes. I forgot.
Yeah. But in actuality, I didn't think I was worthy of being on the same camera as the great John Yamasato. But in actuality, I was more interested.
He totally is.
I was more interested in the producing side. So I showed up. And we did that first test shoot. It was John and I don't know if you had, maybe Darren was playing.
Yeah, I think it was just me and Darren or
something like that.
Something like that.
We had a gray foam background.
Yeah.
Like these foam panels, and I don't remember who else was actually there from the beginning, but you know, all the like we had like maybe 2 or 3 cameras, and they were just like photo DSLR cameras at the time. And anyway, I just kept showing up every week, and now it's been 13 years later.
Is it 13 years?
Yeah, we started 2011.
Wow. Smokes.
Yeah. So and as when I was trying to remember all the timelines, I also went back to like the first ones, and we had Heart and Soul, I think was our first.
It was them and Nathan Avial, Richard.
Yeah, I remember Nathan's one.
Richard Nato.
Yeah. Those guys were on the and to see like we still had the curtain background.
Yeah.
We were like trying to hide that we were upstairs in Dave's house, and then finally like screw it, we just throw Dave's kitchen in the background and stuff like that. So, but the point is like, that's how I became to be a part of the Hisessions crew and to go to Ko'olau and where else did we go? Hawaii Theater, and then back to Ko'olau, and then.
The kind of sad part, we had Faith Ako, you know, we shot her yesterday, and she kind of mentioned it. I didn't think about it. Everybody who was there, because she shot 10 years ago with us, so 2014. Yeah. Wow. She's like, your whole crew is not the same.
Yeah.
There's not one person that's still there. Oh, I should take that back. Lance was there.
Oh, yeah,
and he was there from the beginning. But yeah, the crew has kind of come and gone. So Nick was an integral part of the show for many years. But, you know, life changes. And
I still get called for, like, I'm like the 6th in line if something like the first 5 people say no.
Yeah.
So I actually went to the OP Pickers one.
Yes, that's right.
Which was awesome to see the OP Pickers back in action.
Just think the stars would have not aligned, and it usually won't, because John hates to attend social events, and if he didn't go to that party at Ko'oloha, this would never have happened. So maybe you should come out to more social events when you get invited, man.
You should be more social, John.
Well,
nice try, Kyle.
If I try to look at my schedule, if I don't have anything, I will go.
Okay.
Actually, I'm just jumping on Kyle's side. John actually is as social as anybody else I know, at least from my point of view. But you guys are better. Yeah.
Oh.
I think over the years I've gotten more hermity.
Yeah, you have.
But I think over the years, so have I. So
but you have young kids, so you kind of don't have a choice.
I have young kids.
They're not that young.
Youngish.
Not anymore.
Your only excuse is Fortnite.
Yeah.
And being fundamentally lazy and don't want to get up.
I just had this revelation with Kyle because I was telling him, like, you know, I have a minor OCD.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, did you ever get into like rituals and stuff like that? You know? And I said, I kind of did. But then after a while, I was just like, I'm too lazy to do this. Continued, you know. And my laziness.
Children are the antithesis of habits.
Oh yeah.
But he
Right.
says his laziness overrode his.
Oh yeah,
his disability.
Yeah, it's quite an amazing thing, the amount of laziness that John can have in one.
You cured yourself.
I'll tell you about it more later, but now that I think about it.
Well, and that's what's always interesting to me though, is like, John is humble. Is that the right word?
Yeah.
But he always thinks of him. It's like a humility that is self-deprecating to some degree. Like even so today's when I sent them a bunch of questions, and one of the answers that he put, the question was, when your respective field, which John would be real estate and music, what was a chicken skin moment? And literally the first line is, I don't really have chicken skin moments because I think I'm emotionally stunted a little bit.
See that?
He would not be wrong.
That's not true though. Knowing John, it's not true. Anyway, let's get back. So anyway, my point is,
Hey, we got one question. We got one other question.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's my connection to this show. I'm honored to have been a part of it. I'm honored to be a new part of this.
You're still part of it, just on a different modality.
As the universe goes, I'm like Pluto now. I lost my planetary status, but
this is interesting. By the way, this is all interesting, brand new information to me.
Oh, really?
I had no idea.
Oh.
I just was wondering why.
And that's how Nick and I.
Why is he always coming? I know, like, why is he the guy doing the Oppo-Cast? He doesn't even have a podcast.
Yeah.
And how come I always see him at everything? And granted, I figured it was just a real estate friends thing. You know what I mean?
We have crossover from the music side from before too. So you just thought like, oh, this is the same thing. Or
So it's just like, oh, well, and you're a gregarious sort who, you know what I mean? So I thought, oh, okay.
I would actually work with Nick more, but our lives are just.
Yeah, you guys are busy.
Yeah. But it's funny that you say that now, knowing that I came in and bombed into the live cast from Maui to help you co-host for like 2 hours. You're kind of like, all right, he's just gonna.
Yeah, and I was like, oh, good, Nick's here, right on. And I was just happy that I wasn't having to do it by myself. But no, I mean,
the 8th hour,
you're always there when they need you to do, when Hisessions need you for stuff. So
and I
cool.
like that.
That's cool.
It's my contribution to something
it's
that.
good because it's very low pressure.
Low commitment.
Like you can come in, you saved the day, but it was holy shit. Look at Nick just zooming in and doing these things, and you're like. Well, I was actually here from the beginning of this shit, but okay.
No. It's because I'm just doing my part to try and make the Hisessions universe.
So altruistic. Love it.
Yeah.
But thank you to two of you for perpetuating Hawaiian music.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's what I'm most proud of. Because I do remember back on that conversation, one of John's goals was saying like, because there was another YouTube channel that you had also. It was like, I think we were saying like Vivo, like you wanted to create... Like a place where local artists could be featured on YouTube in a professional setting. And I think... And
not just so, I mean, I do have a soft spot for the real, like, traditional... I shouldn't say real traditional stuff, because even, like, the Slacky stuff isn't traditional. You can go as far back, Yeah. But, to kind of... For those guys. So I know that we've talked a lot about the reggae stuff, and I love reggae music, and... I think what's coming out now is great. In fact, I was listening to 98.5 recently. I was like, wow, I like a lot of these songs. They're really good. But at the same time,
and they're not all remix.
Right. Yeah, a lot of good like new yeah. But at the same time, I do always think we should make sure we feature, Hawaiian acts and people because.
But that's why I think to go off of what you were saying about Daryl's house, what I think draws musicians to Daryl's house is the idea that you've got this guy, Daryl Hall, who's Hall and Oates, and he goes, yeah, I'll play your song.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And so for me, going forward with Hisessions, what I'd like to see is to see that, like what you and Henry do, where Henry's playing a C&K song, but you're singing the lead. And then, but I want to see Henry do a song by some other band and jump in on that stuff, which Henry loves to do.
Yeah.
And I think he, watching you guys do a Santana song or watching you guys do some song that you both just really, really enjoy, but it's not necessarily done by either him or by you guys, but something you go, hey, that'd be kind of cool. It's kind of like a
little mashup.
Yeah, kind of like the Crossroads thing that they do for country music, where they get a country music group and they get because they did gosh, what is her name? Leanne Rimes and oh man, now the name is totally escaping me.
Yeah.
But Joss Stone. But it was Joss Stone and Leanne Rimes, and you never think that those two things would go together. But oh my God, that is like one of the best crossroads I've ever seen, and it's because the two of them they take each other's songs and just.
What did you call it?
Exploded.
One of the best what?
Collaborations?
No, did you say cross swords?
No, crossroads.
Oh, crossroads.
Yeah,
I thought you were doing like a. You know, you used to cross swords.
Like I was making a penis joke.
No. Penis joke. Like you guys never did that with.
Dude, no,
okay,
it's not
Wait, what? What did I miss here?
You know more kids this one.
Oh, I see.
And your father would never do crossing swords.
Yeah.
He would never.
Is that sword fight?
No. Well, you go in Shishi and you.
Yeah, you battle.
You cross the streams.
Yeah, you can move on to the.
I had a brother, so that when
yeah, always.
Devin, I have a brother. He just shit in the mirror.
Oh, my father told me that. I'm sorry, Dad.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for letting that know, but. Yeah.
Anyway, that was my introduction. Let me move on to introduce.
That took like half an hour.
I know. Let me introduce. I didn't even get to any of my questions. I didn't even get to introduce my guests.
And thank you and good night.
Yeah. So my guests today, because it's the Oppo-Cast, I am not the guest. I am the host. These guys are my guests. The first of which on the Hisessions Hawaii podcast. Please help me welcome John Yamasato, Kyle Shimabukuro, and Devon Nekoba. Woo! John, let me start with you.
Okay.
Thank you for coming today.
Thanks for having me.
It's a real pleasure of mine. I hope to get to know you better over the time we spend
Me too.
together today. I've been an admirer of your work both professionally and musically. You're in, and I'm making jokes, but John is an actual person I consider to be a mentor in life. But for the purposes of this show, you're now beneath me since I am the host.
All right, that's fine.
We switch roles a little bit, and we'll resume after the show.
Okay,
so don't worry about that.
You're the bottom today.
Yeah. This has devolved quickly.
You started with
I started it. It's my fault. Yeah. John, of course, is a top producing realtor by day and a fan-inducing professional musician by night. Yeah. He is also one of the co-creators of this Hisessions world and can be found at teamyamasato.com. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome John Yamasato to the Hisessions Hawaii podcast.
Good job, John.
All right, next to John is the best-looking member of the Hisessions Hawaii
Yeah.
podcast. That's not based on me. I polled 100 women as I walked in the door here today.
None of them were his
100
wife,
what, blind women?
Ladies and gentlemen, Kyle Shimabukuro. Kyle is obviously the owner and artist for High Life Clothing, which he has been successfully doing since 2006. Local lifestyle brand that reflects our island's people and culture.
I just got done with the Made in Hawaii Festival.
Yeah, that was
very successful.
That was 70,000 people came through the doors.
Did High Life do well?
Yeah, we did good. Thank you for everybody who came and supported the brand.
Awesome.
It was unreal. Yeah,
Nice.
it was crazy.
Yeah, that was. You want to talk about a show that John would go? No.
Yeah, I saw his wife. I saw his wife 2 days in a row.
Wow.
But John was never around. You know.
Bruh.
She went all 3 days.
Yeah.
Wow.
What? Why?
Because she's crazy.
All right. Cool.
I don't think I could even handle 1 day.
You know what's trippy is that it's like doing that for 3 days with 70,000 people. You're gonna know people that come through.
Yeah.
And like I'm delirious already. I'm tired, right?
Yeah.
I can't remember everything after. People walk up to me and go, "Hey, what's up, man?" And the whole time I'm thinking, "How do I know it? Like who?" You know, I forgot their names or who. But then if I did, I apologize. I tried to remember everybody, but my mind was just like garbage already towards the end.
Towards the and this is gonna sound terrible, but this is also gonna, but it's the same thing. Towards the the heights of Manoa DNA, I had this idea where for Iolani clothing, we all had everything had a permanent name label.
Smart.
Because I was like, because just in case you lose it, you know where to fit. But for my head, I was like, so that I can, if everybody walks in with an Eli shirt, I'm like, hey, Devin, that's a great.
The problem is if you went with that, right?
Yeah.
Then you say their name and they go, "Oh my God, they remember my name!"
Yeah.
And then they get into all this other stuff, but you really don't know why you know their name.
Yeah,
it's because it's on the shirt.
Because it's on your shirt.
Yeah, but they think that you understand the relational of how
which
you
we
guys
do
know each
every
other.
time.
Right.
We definitely.
Which you don't actually. But that's okay.
But yeah, as I've been getting older, it's just everything's been getting foggy, man.
Yeah.
You know?
Especially because you guys are doing this now.
Yeah.
And then, you never know how because Hawaii too, right? Your lives intersect so much.
Yeah.
That you're like, how do I there's so many times where I'll just see somebody walk and I'm like, I know them somehow. And like Rachel, my wife, hates it because sometimes I walk up to those people. I'm like, how do I know you? And they're just like, oh, I don't know. I'm like, I know you somehow. Anyway.
Hi.
You like hear one shame one was towards the last second to last day. I was tired already. The show was gonna end. This lady walks past and I go, hi, and she goes, hi. Oh, I forgot you work here. And I go, yeah. And I go, how come I don't see you anymore in my house? Because we have a cleaning person come to our house every 3 weeks. This Japanese cleaning person.
Yeah.
And she goes, oh, I think you have the wrong person. I'm like, wait, what? I do? She goes, I work for your doctor. I'm the nurse at the doctor's office. I'm like, oh, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry.
Not the lady who cleans my house.
I was so ashamed.
Oh, I thought you were my other doctor.
No,
a very prestigious profession.
They looked alike, but then my mind was on mush, and I'm like, I'm sorry, real tired. And she goes, yeah, I know, I can tell. And I'm like, yeah.
At least you never call her mom.
Yeah.
So
I could tell you came in for lack of sleep last night.
Yeah.
I know. You don't have to tell me again.
Crazy.
Oh, by the way, sorry. By the way, I ran into one of our guests who was on the podcast, and I can't remember his name, and I apologize. But I'm like pumping gas. He goes, "Hey, how's it going?" And I'm like, "How's it?" And then
you knew where he was from.
And he hopefully doesn't watch this because then I could not recall at all. So it's that, hey, how's it going? So what's, and you're asking them questions to hopefully understand who they are, right?
Yeah.
And so it helped me because he said, how's John and Kyle? And I went, oh, from the podcast. Wait.
Good.
Because we've done 200 of these. So I'm going,
different Rolodex is going.
Yeah, and he was in a big truck, and he said, he was running stuff out to the west side or something.
Well, his name is also not easy to remember.
Okay.
Jamon. Jamon.
There you go. Jamon.
Yeah.
He has the two. His
Yeah.
Super nice guy.
Yeah.
Jamon, I got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, bro.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Okay, anyway.
I mean, because when I met him, because his name's not someone that you hear every day. So it took me a few times to like, okay, Jamon. And then I got it in my head. Okay. So I can see how meeting him once for an hour.
Well, then seeing him at a gas station.
Yeah, out of context.
Completely. I was just like,
Yeah, I think when they're out of context, like made in Hawaii, it's hard.
Yeah.
Especially if you clean Kyle's house.
Back to our host.
Well, speaking of not recognizing people, the last person on the end there, you might not recognize his voice because it's like some sort of sultry, like smooth jazz radio guy now.
Going today.
Ladies and gentlemen, Devon Nekoba. Devon, I think what I discovered in my research of you for this podcast today, I think I found your most amazing credit online today. You've been talking to my wife. Did you guys know? And maybe I'm naive and you guys all knew this already, but Devon is a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I feel like I did know that.
I think you might have known.
What hero character is he?
But he was.
Well, I mean, it's close to like Iron Man and stuff like that. But it's weird because guess what the profession of the person that he played was.
This is not. It's some kind of police officer.
Yeah, he always played law enforcement.
Well, which one was that? I can't remember already.
It was Inhumans.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That's
right.
We are so honored to be talking to
the
great Officer J. Rose.
Wow.
From the Marvel
why
TV show.
Why do we always get typecast as an officer or a TSA agent or something like that? What's up with that?
I look official, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. As long as they keep casting me, I'm fine.
Officer Rose, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it made it onto some sort of Marvel thing, and I went, what?
Yeah, no, it's a part of the cinematic universe.
Yeah.
Like you're a part of.
That's something you can always say. Like, oh yeah, I was in a Marvel thing.
People just go, wait, what?
Yeah.
I go, I know. I
Marvel TV show.
I didn't even get to see the actual Inhumans. I got to.
Yeah, but I mean, still, who can say it? Not too many people can say that.
I can't say it.
And
I've never been in a Marvel.
I've never been in a Marvel
did that
cinematic
at 3 o'clock in the morning in Turtle Bay. It was.
That's an accomplishment.
Yeah, congratulations.
I thought they was gonna say they modeled the Up character from him, but something else.
Which one? The little boy? Oh, sorry. I just guessed.
Good guess.
He is the lone Asian in the whole universe of Disney films. So Besides Mulan.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you didn't get
and I was never gonna beat a Pat Morita character.
Anyway, so let's get started. The first Oppo-Cast we did in 2022, we got into some heavy questions pretty quickly. 2023, I sent out the questionnaire like I did this time, got a little lighter. I think that one went a little bit more upbeat, a little bit more relaxed, so that's why I did it again.
Okay.
But I wanted to kind of bridge it. We might dive into some of the questions a little bit heavier.
Okay.
The one that I think I want to start on, though, and the question was which way the toilet paper roll should go from, like when you put a new toilet paper
Oh, my God. I don't even know why this is even up. Okay.
Wait. Over the top or under from the bottom, right? And sorry for the hand motions I just did, but that's the only way I can figure out.
Yeah.
Over the top or under the bottom.
Talking about wiping or putting the toilet
paper on the roll. Yeah.
Did you not answer the questions?
I did.
No, he did.
Oh, okay.
Well, so technically he wrote something, but Kyle didn't answer the question.
What?
Okay, so John and Devon gave the correct answers.
The correct answer.
But Kyle only answered, there's only one answer to this. That's all he wrote. There's only one answer. So we're all ready for you to reveal which is the one answer to this question.
It's over the top. I mean, it's obvious.
Everybody is in agreement.
It is not obvious.
It is, because if it's under, it rolls down, and then
you would think it's obvious. But how many times have
if
we all
you look
come
up
across
the patent for the toilet paper roll has the toilet paper coming over the top.
See, when
Why'd
I
you look
asked
at the
what is
patent?
a fun fact
Because
that
I've brought this up before. And,
yeah. This is the cool fact that I brought. This is what you should have answered to that question.
What?
That you know
that
it's
I
a
know.
part of a patent.
Yes, it's a part of a patent.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the other question we can ask.
Yeah.
Do you wipe over the top or under the bottom?
What?
What?
What is... You mean back or front? Back.
What?
Back?
Yeah, back. Why? Do you not?
Do you not?
You
Yeah,
go
no, we're all
down
worried.
from underneath and
I get bidet. No.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, but
Yeah.
you still gotta dry
I
your
wipe from the back.
ass.
I wipe from the back.
Yeah.
Yeah. But when I was a kid, I used to wipe from the front.
I don't think I ever
Wow.
did.
Yeah.
I wonder why you discovered that you're supposed to do it the other way.
Yeah, how did you figure... yeah.
I'll explain to you after. It's kind of gross. Yeah. I'll tell you guys after.
Okay, wait. I'm trying to keep control of this.
All right.
this thing.
Sorry.
We lost control a long time ago.
Yeah.
Every time, yeah.
No. But in all honesty, though, the warm-up question I was most excited to talk about, though, was the toothpaste question. So I asked each of you guys, do you wet the toothbrush before the paste or after you apply the paste? Kyle answered yes, which means what?
Kyle honestly doesn't read these questions.
I was busy last night.
I see.
I wet it.
You
First or
do you
after
even
you
use
put on the
toothpaste? That's the
Yeah,
first
I
thing.
use toothpaste.
Okay.
Yeah, I wet
Your
the
dentist
tooth-
might be listening.
I wet the toothbrush and
Do
then
you
I
put-
put the paste on top.
Oh, you wet the toothbrush and then put... Okay.
Yeah.
You go wet first. Wet
Yeah,
first.
wet the toothpaste first. Wet the toothbrush first
Paste
because it's in the
first.
bathroom and all
Yeah, it's
kinds
kind of washing it
John
off.
is a
That's why.
paste
I
first.
do a paste first.
Ooh, you're washing your mouth with all the stuff that
Whoa.
landed on your toothbrush that night.
What?
Like if you go bathroom and stuff.
Yep. All the things
Just
fall on your
floating in
toothbrush.
the air, go on the toothbrush.
And then you
We might
add
change
paste
your
on it and
routine.
You brush your teeth with everything that fell on your
Yeah.
toothbrush that night.
yeah.
No, I put the paste on and then I run it under the water.
Exactly.
And then I put,
Yeah.
But you're not rinsing off the
Yeah.
toothbrush
First.
bristles. So whatever stuff
We
is
rinse
gathered
the
on there.
toothbrush
because
first.
because
and
that
then
paste is airtight seal over the bristles.
No, but you're just mashing it back into your teeth, man.
Yeah.
You're gonna change your.
You gotta
change your routine,
Yeah, you
yeah.
change your routine,
Alright,
man.
And plus, Devin answered like pretty incredulously. Why would you wet after the paste?
Yeah.
Like that was his like.
Why would you wait
You
after
didn't make
paste,
any
John?
Well, I used for a long time. I didn't even wet the toothbrush at
You
all.
just went dry into your mouth.
Yeah,
Oh my god! And then you just let your saliva do the work.
yeah.
Wow.
Do you
Wow.
wet your mouth at least though?
I wonder.
But
But
now I
you
have
know,
a-
okay.
What's your mouth?
But what's
What?
interesting?
like, and then spit out and then brush your teeth because your mouth's wet and then you can brush your teeth.
we might all be changing our routine here. No, but in all seriousness though, I've always wondered if that was the intent of toothpaste to do dry, because your dentist does it dry. Right, they just do. They don't like rinse your mouth out, and then
yeah.
like they dry your mouth out, and then they do the paste, and it's like dry paste.
Yeah,
And
but it's
then
not
you don't get the-
it's not a toothbrush though. They use a polisher.
no, I know. So, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying, like,
But
maybe
nowadays
it's the
everybody's
same
got the
thing.
one that spins, so it's like the
Yeah.
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 You know?
I don't know.
But that's when I started putting it under the water was when I got the the one that's been the Sonicare or whatever.
Yeah.
Plus, you don't get the bubbles on. You don't get as much, I don't know, bubbles when you're brushing if you don't use water.
Oh, for like at all?
Yeah, like
that's
just rushing and you turn the thing in your mind like, oh,
it's like taking a shower without using the shower.
Yeah, does anybody brush their teeth in the shower?
No, but I heard that's very efficient.
Yeah, I heard that's very efficient too. That's what I was gonna say. You're efficient human.
Did anybody pee in the shower?
No.
Not yet.
Do you?
No.
Ooh, that's gross, bro. You do that.
If my wife is listening, of course not.
Moving on, I also posed 3 quick fire questions that I think were gonna be pretty insightful into each of you guys. So, and what's funny is you guys were kind of all over the place for these questions too, which is interesting. So the first one is a hot dog a sandwich? John answered no. That's why it's called a hot dog.
Yes.
Kyle said yes, but in its own hot dog way. And Devin just said yup. So, is this hot dog a sandwich? Can you 3 agree on one answer as the right answer? John, will you come around to say that a hot dog is a sandwich?
Yes, I don't know. I didn't really have big feelings about any of these things.
Yeah, he's like,
But my whole thing, and you'll see in my answers, I've answered all of them the same. If it was a sandwich, it would be called a
between 2 pieces
hot
of
dog
bread.
sandwich?
a hot dog sandwich or a wiener sandwich or whatever. It's called a hot dog, so it's something different.
Yeah.
That was my
and
rationale.
it's in a bun.
I agree with John.
I didn't
Oh,
really.
you changed your answer?
Yeah.
Oh my God, this is going.
I didn't put too much thought into it, to be honest.
Okay, fine then. Then we'll just skip over the rest of them since
There's no skin in the
No,
game.
because you can say the other ones.
No,
'cause
'cause
I had
the
the
other
same
ones were
answer
good
for
too.
all of them.
Is a bowl of cereal a soup? John answered no, otherwise it would be called soup, aka the same answer. Kyle answered only if you put milk into it, which is smart because I didn't specify whether you put milk into it or not. And then of course I agree with that.
Cereal soup.
Because then otherwise it's more like granola.
Yeah.
And Devin said nope. So what's interesting is Devin thinks that a hot dog is a sandwich, but a bowl of cereal is not a soup, even though those are kind of the same wrinkle.
I mean, I did have a thought
Actually,
that.
no, not really, because a soup is a prepared dish that has a broth, that has meat, vegetables, right? Different kinds of things that are kind of thrown in to make this dish. Whereas cereal is this thing that's
broth is your
cereal is this thing that's prepared. You know, like you think of Apple Jacks or Captain Crunch or something that is prepared already. You put milk into it, or you don't put milk into it. People put juice in it.
Is milk a broth?
Yeah.
No, because milk is its own thing, right? Milk
so
is
hot water added to cup of noodle.
Oh,
what?
yeah. Hot water is its own thing. Yep. Think about that, Devin. Maybe.
No, still not. No.
And the final one is ketchup a smoothie? John said
Ew.
no again. Because ketchup is blended fruit. Right? In the same way
with
that
vinegar and sugar.
Well,
and
ketchup is actually blended fruit already before it's a smoothie.
That's why Kyle's answer was technically yes, but non-drinkable smoothie.
Yeah.
you
I had a friend once that used to drink ketchup.
Yeah.
Which is in
that's
itself
nasty.
And Devin just answered gross.
Yeah.
Not even yes or no.
No, that's just gross.
So now that I think we're learning more about each of you personally.
Are you?
No, are we really?
Yeah. But one of the most interesting ones that I did ask that got a little bit more seriously and a little bit deeper was what was one of your favorite moments on the show so far? And John answered Kelly Who, even though it was remote.
Obviously.
Talking to her was amazing.
Kelly, we got to get you back on. I'm just saying.
Kyle answered half sarcastically, I think. Every recording day is my favorite. We get to talk story with the most interesting people.
That's true.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay. My apologies for thinking that was a bit of a joke. knowing Kyle, though, I was
even
today.
Exactly.
You'd have to.
Thank you. And Devin said Penny, which was like he's done twice, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. He was just,
Penny's
been
been
fantastic, just because he had so little filter through him. And he had never done a podcast. And I think
that's what's most amazing.
Yeah, by doing our podcast, I think it opened him up to doing more of them. But I think it also was a chance for him to express all these things as a musician that we all hope to get from musicians when we talk to them. Yeah. Right? Which is the perspective. Yeah, this perspective and this very unfiltered way of expressing himself. But it was clear, and it was all from the heart. And he just put it all out there. And the fact that people responded to it in the way that they did, and it was all, a lot of them were peers that I think in years past he may have thought, oh, wow, they're going to judge me, nobody going to care or whatever. But they actually were like, wow, that was amazing. You know, and that's always the hope for me when people come on here, is that they get this this feeling of being appreciated for what they bring to the world. That part is cool.
And he's got the receipts to back up everything. It's not like, you know, it's just like some random guy.
And you know, and he's kind of like you and John in the sense that you guys have achieved enough to a certain extent where it's enough. I'm good. The idea that you would be as successful as you guys are, and you just go, you know what, I'm good. If every so often I go hang out with Henry Capono or go on tour with Herb, or you know, Penny goes and does his stuff, and that's good. That's enough. That's success for them. And so many people are more about either making more money or being more famous or all of those kind of things, and they're not as much worried about their quality of life. So that part was really cool, because he's achieved about everything you can achieve with regards to being in a band in the way that, you know, he's in a band, right? So yeah, that was just neat.
Well, let me flip it on you. What is success to you?
Well, right now I have no job, so having success is making sure that my wife is happy, that I can pay for shit. That's pretty much.
Wife is happy is a big one.
Yeah, happy wife, happy life, right? And so for me, that's been the interesting sort of struggle that I face, and I know this is gonna get way more deep than some of you are expecting. But it's something that I've been wrestling with, because a lot of people, when they ask me now, you know, what do you want to do? What is the thing that's going to bring you joy? Unfortunately, I'm not at an age yet, or at a skill set yet, possibly, where the thing that I want to do is the thing that's going to make me the money, right? That I need to do. So it may be a thing of doing not necessarily the thing I want to do, but the thing that I have to do in order to make the money, so that on the side I can do this other stuff that help supplement this. But finding that thing has been much more of a journey than I expected to have. And it also forces you to analyze what you're good at and what you're not good at, right? And what things that you've gone through in your life that got you to the space that you're at. So like for me, within the last probably 3 weeks, I've realized the thing that I excel at is making people feel comfortable enough that they're sharing stories with me, that they're talking to me about stuff, kind of like this, and to try to figure out how to take that and monetize it. Because most of the time, like we've been doing with our podcast has a certain level of success, but that success is predicated on the fact that we just like to have fun bullshitting with each other. And it's hard to make that a money driving thing, right? So the idea is then to take that and tilt it a little bit so that you can sit there and make some money off doing it. And I'm not gonna, the idea is not to make, you know, gobs and gobs of money. That'd be awesome, but it's unrealistic. The idea is to do it enough so that you can make enough money that you can do the stuff you want to do. So I don't know. I also don't have any really serviceable skills besides what I'm doing right now, talking.
Your voice,
so
and that
that seems to change depending on the weather. So you know, but it's been an interesting thing, because you know, like you sit here and you got to introduce us, right? You can introduce John and say John is a realtor and he does music and that stuff, right? You introduce Kyle, and Kyle owns a surf or a lifestyle wear company that he designs for. You turn to me and you go, well, Devon was in Inhumans.
Well,
which was like 10 years ago. Or you can talk about the fact that I did do radio for a good long time.
That's my fault.
No,
because let me just say this as full disclosure. I didn't know if you wanted to talk about it today.
That's
why I kind of kept it light. But I'm happy to hear that, because when you think about, you know, and I think you downplay your role in what you built, you know, even the and maybe I'm misrepresenting you here, but it sounds like you kind of a little bit downplay how impactful you were on local radio, local music scene, local in just being the MC that you were, being so prolific. Wow, you got that ready to go. Yeah, so when you're talking about me, that's the word.
You got to the start of the word, and I'm like,
yeah.
Pro-choice?
Yeah. No, but in all seriousness, I think you discount that. I think you discount, like, you say, like, oh, you know, you're trying to find that you don't have any serviceable skills outside of being able to make people feel comfortable.
Yeah, you definitely accomplished a shit ton of stuff in your career. And that's something to be proud of.
The part that you don't have control of is the industry has changed quite a bit. You know,
that's the part.
I mean, it could happen to any of us. You know, Kyle's industry can change.
Just
real estate industry.
Yeah,
real estate. My family's gone. My family business is gone because the industry changed and COVID hit.
Yeah.
Like it happened.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't think it's as much a reflection on you as it's more a reflection on what's going on. Like, you know, in that whole sector.
Yeah.
And so. Yeah, I feel you, man.
Which is also why I recommend therapy highly.
But, you know, I think a lot of people, in fact, every single one of us here are dealing through adjustments in this new type of world we're living in. You know what I mean?
Nick and I, man.
There's changes every month. There's changes every year. Yeah. You know, we see things shutting down that we were used to seeing as childhood friends, you know. And, I mean, in our childhood, seeing things shut down and business change, it's challenging. It's hard, scary. Yeah, you know,
and I think you know when you answered my question too, I understand that, you know, there's a lot of changes that you're trying to navigate and figure out what your next step is, and the idea, right, is you have this base of skills that you can hopefully build off of, and in the same way that Penny was sharing the way that, you know, all of the background on what they did and how they came to it and the people that helped them along the way, Dave Tutorone, and like the way he was talking about all those experiences. You talked about Randy Hudnall and how he was like super impactful on your thing. And I think it's just interesting because for the podcast listeners that maybe don't know the background on these three guys, and I'm lucky enough to know the background on where you guys all come from, it is something to be kind of impressed by the fact that these three humans who are at the top of their games independently all come together and give you entertainment on a daily basis. And that to me, like no, I'm maybe not daily.
No, thank you for saying that.
I'm serious, because you guys obviously could have other better things to do than to sit down and talk to each other.
Fortnite for John.
Fortnite.
Yeah. I guess when you said when you asked me what is my most memorable moment, and I said every single Tuesday we record is a memorable moment for me, is because in the industry that I worked in, I'm a graphic designer. I worked with a lot of entertainers and actors and, you know, people in the industry that are on stage, on camera, that are famous and all that kind of stuff. And we're acquaintances with each other. But I never get to sit down and talk to them and learn about who they are and what they do besides just seeing them on stage, you know. Yeah. And this has been a really great opportunity for me to learn about these people that I knew for a long time, whether it be I bought their CD or I actually worked with them and gave them clothes and they're a sponsor, or they're a part of the company Locomotion I used to work with. But to sit down and talk to them for an hour and just give them this undivided attention to share their story is really special, you know. And as I hope it's as special to our audience as it is to me to meet these people and see them in a different light every single week. Yeah. I mean, I consider myself really lucky to be able to do that, you know.
Do you think your industry, because I won't say that I know your side of the business because we had a kind of a different side of it, but do you think I know that there are some lonely aspects to producing clothes, in the sense that you don't really get to know or choose who wears your clothes, and especially for you as a graphic artist who is so personally involved in the full production of something, a piece of art that he is giving to somebody, or that somebody's buying from him to wear. Do you think there's a little bit of development in your desire to get to know people a little bit more because you for so long haven't had that connection?
Yeah, I think in the beginning when I used to design, it was for myself, but also for my peers, because I was in that demographic. Yeah. And now I'm trying to more interject into seeing what these kids like to wear by asking my nephew, my niece, or my friends' kids and trying to see why they're wearing what they're wearing. I still don't understand some of the stuff that they choose to wear, but it's a different perspective now in trying to stay relevant. You know, when back then relevant was just what I thought was, but now it's relevant is what other people, you know, the younger generation is.
That's good though. That's why you're successful.
Well,
you don't have the ego of it where you're like, no, you're gonna take my design, or, you know what I mean? Because that's how a lot of guys are. I mean, you know, you gotta, and this is not meant to bash on anybody because it's not. But like an RE South or a Manuhil E or groups like that, they do these fantastic designs, but they basically go, here, this is what you're gonna wear, and people go, shoots, right? Whereas Kyle is always going, I wonder if that would work, or if I tweak this, then that'll be different. And so you look at the designs over the course of years, and you know, you do your little duck brand thing where, oh, that's really cool, that's awesome. Or, you know, your 808 rock thing, which we all know because it's 98 rock, right?
But then, but the new generation.
But there's a new generation, and with every generation, you figure out a way to access what they like. I know you never think that you hit it on the nose, but it works, because I don't know. I walk around and get all these people wearing High Life stuff.
Thank you.
Some of it is stolen, but you know.
But yeah, it is a different perspective now.
Some of it's stolen.
Yeah, they get all these freaking big
assholes. They come in the
and they, you know, he's at the stadium going, oh, that shirt is not mine. That shirt is not mine.
I see.
It comes with the territory.
Yeah.
It is what it is.
He's so calm about it, and the rest of us like, those fucking guys, I can't believe it, you know. So
yeah. Higher life.
Yeah. The low lives.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Hey, but and you know, like from a podcast listener standpoint, and I don't think I brought it up this time, but you know, the part of what my goal every time is to try and represent the listeners, the viewers, because as a listener viewer myself, it's, you know, there's stuff that where you're listening in the car going, ooh, I want to interject and ask him, because you want more information. And I think it's, you know, when you guys talk about a lot of times your individual fields and your successes and or struggles or whatever, or even if you're just talking about like stupid kids or whatever that you are grumpy about at the time, John.
Or people who feed cats.
yeah, people who feed. Yeah, that's well, my question for what's your pet peeve, John? People feeding stray animals.
Yeah,
feral
animals. Yes. No, it's just it's
a pet peeve. I'm not gonna lie.
It is mine too.
You'd have to take that word pet peeve literally, you know.
Yeah. People. There's a guy that. Oh, maybe I shouldn't call him out on a public forum.
Come on.
There's a guy that feeds the cats on the Pully Lookout.
Oh.
Not the look. It's not Pully Lookout. It's Dead Man's Corner.
Okay.
You know, there's that lookout.
Yeah.
There's a guy that's there every day.
Really?
Feeding the cats. And
the cops are there every day.
I know, but I think it's like one of those symbiotic relationship kind of things where the cops are like, you know.
Is there a lot of dead cats you see getting run over though on that corner?
No. But it's like he's the representation of that kind of lifestyle. I'm just like. Yeah. I know that you love the cats. I know that cats are animals and that animals deserve food, but
can you feed them something that spays them or neuters them, please? That'd be really nice.
And maybe he does. Maybe I'm misrepresenting. Maybe
I highly doubt that.
I'll have faith in the world that he takes them to the Humane Society.
Okay.
Anyway, but my point though was just like, as a representative, you know, I hope that you guys know the amount of appreciation that we have, because it's nice to be able to hear your guys' own personal story and interject those things.
John, can we run long?
Yeah, sorry. Are we almost out of time?
Can we run long?
About 15 minutes.
Yeah, Kyle just wants more.
No, I want him to get everything out. That's why. And I don't feel rushed.
No.
Sorry, Nisa, but we're going to run long.
John's leg's going to start shaking soon.
John gets antsy after that.
By the way, we ran long the last two podcasts.
But what can you run?
That's okay. People like him.
Kyle just wants more compliments.
No, I want to finish your interview without us guys interrupting. Yeah.
And you know, most of my questions were kind of nice and easy. You know, I asked the question like, if Spotify or somebody bought the show today for $1 billion, what would be the first thing that you would spend your fortune on? John's boring answer was ice cream. I was at least Kyle and Devin said we're going to go on a trip. Like,
I didn't know it'd be that much money.
How much do you think Spotify? Oh, because you were thinking like realistic what Spotify would pay for this.
Nothing.
Yeah.
So you want to revise your answer if you had?
Probably ice cream.
A what?
Ice cream.
Ice cream.
You know what a gajillion dollars, right? Is he's
I
not
know,
saying
but
like $5.
I don't know. I mean, I wouldn't. I'd want to like sit and think about, what the responsible. Yeah.
Oh,
donating part of it.
So ice cream's not gonna break the bank.
Depends on the ice cream, I guess.
I mean, it would be nice to get some new equipment because this stuff is getting kind
of or a new car, John.
Yeah. Your
car.
CRV.
Yeah.
But okay, but I asked them two pretty deep questions. Let me get since the spotlight's on John now. The question that I wanted to ask, and I don't think I've ever personally, even for all the years that I've known you, have heard the answer to this. The
John's like, oh no.
Play on the music side. Okay, I know. Okay. I know a little bit, not to the level that you have, of what it's like to play live on the road, right? And it's a totally different experience because you're staying at a hotel, you're traveling, you're moving. There's a lot of moving parts. There's producers that you've never met before. There's sound guys that you're working with, whatever it is. Mm-hmm. Whether for you, well, first of all, would you rather play on the road, or would you rather play in your home, wherever your home base is?
I'd rather play at home.
Yeah.
But yeah, if we could do if it went back to the days of the Waikiki, I'd rather do something like that.
Do you miss the coffee shop days?
Yeah, the coffee shop days. Those were good.
I had a feeling you would say this. Because you've had all the experiences, and
plus he's also fundamentally lazy and doesn't want to have to travel.
But I can recognize that answer just because those are even for us, those are those familiar, they seem much more comfortable. You have a lot more. I don't want to say more control, but you at least know what's going on a lot more, and you can experiment a lot more too because you're a lot more comfortable with your surroundings, right?
Right.
Yeah. And so what is it about being at home for you that makes it something that's more that you would prefer over going on the road, say, like comparing the two?
Oh, well, as I've learned from this podcast, I am a control freak.
Oh.
So having a home base, you're comfortable there, you can set up things the way you want it, and that's why I think I like studio work, because you're allowed to make mistakes and do things over, and you don't really have to interact with too many people.
The pressure of being on the road is a little higher, in that sense.
Yeah, everything's it's more the road is just the travel part is just not
tiring.
Well, yeah, it's tiring, but everything is like everything is a bus ride or a train ride or a car ride, and I'm not a morning person, and typically you got to leave in the morning to get rid of. It's just the hassle of all of that stuff.
Here it is.
Yeah.
If you didn't have to go on the road, you stayed in Hawaii, on Oahu, okay?
Yeah.
And you live in Hawaii Kai, so let's just go Waikiki Shell because it's close by your place.
Yeah.
Waikiki Shell packed on a birthday bash night, 20,000 plus people, or a nice quaint coffee shop in Hawaii Kai.
Pay is the same.
Everything. What would you prefer?
I would do the coffee shop.
Yeah.
You're a rare musician, right? Because
Yeah.
most people would want.
Maybe I would do the. Well, okay. Let me put it this way though. I did one time get asked to do a birthday bash or something, but they did like a quote unquote all-star band, and they wanted me to sing with Mailani.
Yeah.
And so I did do that, and I wanted to do that because I had never played at night. Like every time I played the Shell, it was during the day because Pure Heart's not a dance band, right?
Well, that and you guys were just starting out, right?
Yeah, so I never got to see the big crowd at night, and I kind of wanted to experience that, so I did do that.
Did you enjoy it?
Yeah, it was great. But then after I did, I was like, okay,
I'm done.
I don't have to do that. But it was pretty neat to do that. Like I always used to like sit there and watch like Ho'onua and Fiji, and be like, I wonder what that's like, to be on stage, and it's like that's when the party's going,
and all the lighters go up.
Yeah, and stuff, and I never really got to do that. But then I got to do it once, and I was like, oh.
You also got to do it at Hawaii Theater when you guys did the reunion concert.
That was nuts,
but it wasn't like a party,
That was family and friends too, so you got more comfortable with the audience,
So yeah, it's not like I don't know. Yeah, the road is like everything's junk. And then you get to the gigs, and the gigs are really good because you're meeting new people, and it's a new, exciting kind of thing. So, but it's just all the other and then like, it's just me. I'm not a good traveler, So like, there's guys like Jake who has no problems, But I'm always just like, where are we gonna eat? Because if I eat at a certain time, then I gotta find a bathroom, and there's all the logistical stuff that I'm thinking about all the time, right? Where there's guys that just don't have those kind of problems.
Go with the flow.
So I'm just like, yeah, what So that's why I don't like to travel. Yeah.
Well, and actually, it's funny though is that I didn't know but I didn't know that you were a control freak until you said it, and now it's like ding ding ding.
Oh yeah, yeah. Everything falls into place. You go.
Well, like and then like I even thought about it, like because they've woken my mind up to this. Like okay, like when Devon goes to a party, Devon will mingle around and say hi to people. Like a normal human being. I like to go and sit in a corner.
People come.
And if people come to me, then I'm very, but then I don't go out and say, because then like I'm comfortable because I have my little spot, I have what I'm drinking, and then I'm ready now. Yeah. I'm not gonna get caught off guard, versus if I wander up to people
which is interesting because you're in a business that requires you to.
I know
exactly.
And then when I leave, I just leave. I don't say bye because I don't like saying bye to everybody. Yeah.
But also too, there's a certain amount of shorthand because he's John Yamasato.
I know.
Right. So people he can sit in a corner. God. Yeah, he can sit in a corner and people go, "Aren't you that guy?" Yeah. And then they come walk up to him and talk.
I sit in a corner at a party. I beat him on myself the whole night. You want to talk to me?
Well, that's what I prefer. But yeah.
Okay. Well, I think I know we've gone over time.
No, but let's challenge John's controlness and go like a minute and 1 hour 10 or something. See if he just
John,
explodes or something like that.
That's off of this shit.
I mean, why do we ask them questions? I feel like we talked too much.
I asked them questions.
Let's talk. Let's all interview John for another 10 minutes.
Well, I think the only one that the only question that I wanted to really make sure that I got, and we'll finish on this one, is the question about going back to the beginning of the show, and I asked if there was anything that you could change. And the reason that I especially wanted to talk about this one was because the evolution of the Hisessions Hawaii podcast has been something that is pretty interesting. Not just because I know the back, and you've told the story before in the podcast about how first you roped him in, and then you roped him in, and then ta-da, Devon, or whatever way it was, and then ta-da, now you're here, and you're like, wait, how did I get here? So you've talked about the background on that. So but the question was asking, like, if you go back to the beginning, what you could change. And Kyle and John both talked about things about the video. So, but why do you, for you two guys, why do you think that was the most important thing? And why was that your answer?
I don't know if it's the most important, but I feel like that was the biggest trip up because we had all the equipment and the ability to do good video early, but we didn't do it because I didn't want to learn the system.
But not only that, the first maybe 10, 15 podcasts was done just audio.
Right.
No video.
No video.
And we realized, I think if we do video, we get more views. Even if
video has been
more accessible.
More rewarding.
Yeah.
Yeah, as far as like viewers and people can get in there.
I have no idea.
But at that same time, I was telling him that I was very apprehensive because I hate being on camera. But I knew that it was probably necessary to elevate the podcast if we did video.
Yeah. Well, but what's confusing though is Devon answering that question just started with the three of us at the beginning. LOL.
Yeah.
What does that mean? What does that mean? You would
instead of John and Dave starting. And then going, Devon, can you come and do this podcast with us just to see if it works? And then we do that, and he goes, oh, you know what? Dave doesn't want to do it now. Can you do it with me? Sure. Okay, well, now we got to do another first one. Let's call Kyle. Okay.
As the guest.
We have Kyle come in, and he goes, you know what? Actually, I like it better when it's the three of us. So can it be the three of us? And we just started on that pretense and just gone from there. I think it would have been easier for them.
But that's what you guys talked about. I think that episode that was kind of cool was the art of the start, right? The fact that maybe it wasn't in his head, it wasn't in John's head to start with you three.
Yeah.
And it evolved from there. But if he had sat down and tried to, and that's why I was kind of joking about you being a control freak, because there is a little bit of you just like trusting the process in the sense like you go for it, and then because it's the same thing with Hisessions, like. The first one that I was a part of was not published onto YouTube. It was just about to test the process and everything like that. And then we brought in a guest, and then we brought in another guest, and those guests, some of them made the reel and some of them didn't. And then we figured it out as we went along. And I think that's the beauty of what it was here. And yeah, I agree. I don't think you guys would have been any less good or funny or whatever if he had started U3 in the beginning. But I can see how the process also needed to happen in the sense of like, if John didn't give the leeway to changing things as they went, U3 might not be tier 2.
And I think John has good instinct. He just lets it roll, and if he sees fit, then he'll like, hey, that fits. I never thought it would happen, but it fits. And he has that ability to just go, would you like to, you know. So props to John.
Well, and
thank you.
Yeah, especially because John had to do most of the work.
4 more minutes of talking and interviewing John. We're at a minute. We're at an hour and 6. We got 4 more minutes now, John.
One part I don't like about the Oppo-Cast.
What, it's too much to talk about you?
Yeah, like, we should talk more about Kyle and Devon. What other question you have there? Let's do one more question.
One more question.
Wow.
Okay. Wow. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Let me go back to I was ready to.
Something that has to do with Devon and Kyle.
Something that has to do with Kevin.
He did already.
Yeah. We can talk about the chicken skin moments. Kyle's, John's was, he didn't really know because, like he said, he thinks he's emotionally stunted a little bit.
I know I've had times where I'm like, oh, this is a pretty big deal, I think.
Yeah.
And I'm standing there like
your kids being born or something like that. Yeah. I'm pretty sure you went,
no,
this is a big deal.
I even remember my kids being born and being like, I think I'm supposed to be like excited more or something.
And I know what you're saying because I had that kind of the same thing where I think it's shock. That's why a little bit.
Yeah.
Like, oh God, here we go.
Look at this human now.
Wait, I'm supposed to be like, this is great. I have no idea what I'm doing.
I had a video camera and they're like asking me to cut the umbilical cord like an idiot, and I'm doing this with the camera, trying to watch through the lens screen while I'm trying to cut, and the doctor's like, no, it's over here. And I'm like, oh jeez. So
that's the different.
Was that with Dylan or?
I think it was with Kaylin.
Oh, thank God! It could have been a big mistake with Dylan.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, now we don't need to do the whole circumcision part. Okay. Yeah.
Kyle answered Aloha for Japan project. We talked about that a little bit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. That was a good one.
Team together. Just as a little follow up for that one, though, I guess. As far as like chicken skin moments goes, is there one particular moment that you can look back on and say like this was probably the biggest?
With that project, there was a school, I think it was in Sendai or something, that got washed away, and a lot of kids lost their parents and stuff like that. So they sent us a big picture of just the kids and the teachers
wearing the shirt.
Aeroshot wearing the shirt, saying thank you to us, and that really meant a lot, you know, to show that it reached them, and they appreciated it, and it was just a really chicken skin moment to see these kids go through what they went through, and that we in some way Hawaii chipped in to help.
Yeah,
you know, was really special.
Yeah, we still we still get people that come, and you know that's their connection to Hawaii. It's not through the tourist videos. It's not through that stuff. It's through those connections that we made during those times. Yeah. So I like that answer. Devon's was incredible because I can imagine how cool this was. So the question again was, in your respective field, was been a chicken skin moment. Devon answered, is knowing who he was.
Yeah.
Can you explain a little bit about that story?
At the time, I was working at FM 100, and I would only work weekends. But back then, in the dinosaur years of radio, when you did your shift. Like you were there for 5 hours and just live. You were putting in carts and CDs and stuff. And I'd been working for, I don't know, like a year maybe. And I would get calls from time to time from Israel. Could be driving on the street or going someplace. And they go, Brother Devs, how you doing? I'm like, is? And I was like, oh, what's up? And, you know, and it was these very brief conversations. And then he'd be off doing his thing. And I never really thought anything of it. I just thought, how cool that he actually, you know, he would call in. And so I think there was an event at the Shell. And I did the event, and I was there, again, fly on the wall, just like, oh, my God, I can't believe I'm here. Iz was there with his gang of people, and I just walked up, and I shook his hand. I said, bro, I'm like a huge fan. This is really cool. It's neat to meet you, all that stuff. He goes, oh, yeah, no problem. Literally 3-minute conversation, if even that. It was just like a hi, and then I moved on because he's a busy man. Well, a year later, there's the Hula Bowl, and at the Hula Bowl there was a big, huge concert thing that was happening because they would do that for the Hula Bowl, right? And was the big entertainer who was going to be there at the time, and so I went down because I don't know. When you're a part-timer, you like to go to that kind of stuff because you get to walk onto
the perks.
It's one of the perks, right?
Yeah.
So I'm there with Debbie Soke, who is also on our station, and I'm walking down the ramp to go to the field to just hang out, and I hear Devin. I'm like, who's calling me? And I look, and it's Iz, and he goes, "Butter," and he says hi, and I went,
"Hello, Mr.
Hi." I was like, holy shit. So I walk over to him and he goes, "How you doing, brother?" You know, just the way he always was. But the idea that a person of his stature would even know me in any significant way was really weird. Yeah. And it also made me go, wow, that's why this guy is so popular. Because he remembers everybody. I'm like Kyle or John. We're terrible at it. I meet people and like 2 minutes later, I'm going, what is their name? And it's not that I don't remember their face. It's not that they're... And I'd always heard that if you are one of those people, that doesn't remember names, it's because you've got this gigantic ego and you don't think anybody else is important. I'm like, no, it's not that. I'm just terrible at it. So I try to be... I tried to be like Iz with that, and I can't. But his facility for that stuff was just fantastic, and he was always so I don't know what the word is. He was always so gregarious and so happy to see you and happy to meet you. And I remember talking with him on the phone for, like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and just finding out what he was up to. And
where he was driving to.
Yeah, where he was driving to. And, yeah, and as he got older and the weight started to really get on him and he was having hard time breathing and stuff, you could hear it. But, that for me was like, holy shit, I can't believe this guy knows who I am. And that's why, like, even knowing you guys in the entertainment world, like Kyle and I have known each other for like 30 years, so we don't even think twice about it. But the idea that people in the entertainment community would know who I am and be like, hey, it's Devin, is still shocks me from time to time. And I think also because when I got let go from FM 100 and I was sort of just regular Devin, there were very specific people, and I can count them on maybe one hand, two hands, that were famous, that still remembered who the hell I was, and were like, hi, and treating me like a person. And John was one of them. I don't know if I think it was you guys, because I knew you from before, but you were like a young kid.
I don't know how we treated you, but.
Well, you guys are all right. Yeah. But I always remembered the ladies of Naleo. They've always been, you know what I mean? But those are the people that I remember the most, because it was not about who I was as a radio person who could help them. It was more about the fact that they liked me as Devin, the guy that they could hang out with and talk with. And so I always tried to remember that when I did radio, which I think is also why I know people are like, oh, you don't give yourself enough credit. I don't give myself enough credit because most of the time I'm trying to give credit to other people, because for me, making sure you feel like you're important and that you're worth something is something that is more important to me than me sort of feeding my ego about it. Yeah. So anyway, sorry, that was a very long-winded answer.
Can we close off with John sharing his chicken skin moment just to tie it all in?
Yes, please.
I said
he doesn't.
John's chicken skin. Well, first of all, I just want to say, like, it's weird because my chicken skin moment in my whole life was when Devin recognized me. So that's weird.
So stupid.
No, but
I didn't really have one.
John's was actually really nice too. His said he's couldn't identify anything particular, but he's always a little taken back when somebody comes up to him and says like, "Hey, I recognize you from the Hisessions show," or like they express the gratitude for. Oh yeah. For what
and it's cool because it's people that aren't famous. It's like Auntie Betty standing in line at the store for something, and they go, "You're John Yamasato."
Yeah. No, and I think that's what's super cool about Patreon a little bit too, is like, you never get to really, like, if you do normal, like, especially back in the day before Patreon existed, you did entertainment, you didn't necessarily know who the guy was in the front row that was coming to all your shows. This is like, literally the name of the people that are coming to contribute to the thing that you're doing, which is really cool.
Yeah, that's been really fun.
Yeah. And speaking of Patreon, we can wind it up there. We can end the show with just another reminder. If you guys do like the High Sessions Hawaii podcast, sign up at patreon.com/high sessions /high sessions.
And thank you, Nick, for inviting us.
Yeah, Nick.
Thank you for inviting us to the Oppo-Cast.
Yeah. And with that, I want to thank my guests for joining me today on the High Sessions Hawaii podcast. Like, rate, and review as best you can. And on behalf of John, Kyle, and Devin, my name is Nick Kawakami. Thank you for joining today. Hope you have a great rest of your day.
Nick. This is always my favorite podcast.
So, that's a lie. A lot.
See you.